Was I?
For
Was
a miracle.
It is, but we are trying to find the best method of making the snakes look more realistic than not. So
Best method of madness after color changes and black things looking grey and grey things looking white. And technology's a killer sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's too bright. I think it's just the phone. The camera in the phone just wants to contradict everything. You know, it wants to focus on this. And if that's too bright, it tries to counterbalance everything. And you know, like I said, I put a black towel down, and it looks grey, silver grey.
Yeah.
Doesn't even look black. So
Richard's idea was good though. We find something that doesn't reflect it. It's working much better now.
Yeah, well, I tried the towel on that other sheet. I will look at some other stuff. I want to try and find something that's, you know, waterproof sort of thing. So I put it down, you know, when it's cutting eggs, if it makes a mess, it can just wipe it clean. Hygiene. Because I think I thought about like a piece of melamine, like a piece of board like that, or thin, black. But I think it's the same. I think it doesn't matter. It's just going to be reflective, you know. Yep. So
play with
the other option.
Play with the light. Play with material.
The light's up here now. It's up pretty high. So I can move it, and maybe it needs to come down lower instead of being up high, down lower, more of an angle. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But yeah, need to get here because I need your input to tell me
how it looks.
Crap, or whatever.
Yep. I'd rather look at that than your head most of the time, anyway. So suits me.
Mate, you should try being me looking in the mirror. Like, really? This again? You?
Every day you wake up, same head. God damn it.
The dreams I had last night, God, I was like Brad Pitt, and like, you know. But no, apparently not. Apparently. So we got a few people: Troy Gangster, Scotty Reed, Jason, Gaz, Ledger, Alan Walker, Ray Griffiths. Hey guys, watching and cheering for the elusive Caramel Granite. Also, a big thanks to Brent for the chats through the week and his advice and support. Nice.
Cheers, man.
There we go.
When I get time, I get the messenger.
Yeah, I know it's not always easy, for you. I've just making excuses. Chris, Miss Avery, Dave, hey mate. Julian, Samuel,
how are you, mate?
Craig, Mutant Morelia, Reptile Rampage.
Rampage, love it. Good name.
Robert, hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So, yes, hopefully tonight Brent's got a couple of cracking clutches to cut. I actually did have a pure albino clutch pipped the other night. It's albino Darwin over a head albino Darwin. But unfortunately, I had a rampaging migraine, and I was certainly not in the mood for doing a show and cutting eggs, unfortunately. But if time prevails, I've thought
itself.
Yeah, well, you know, probably goes, don't look in the mirror. You get another headache.
I warned you.
You warned you. I told you. Don't make me do it twice. So, yeah, gosh, him up this again. Yes.
Yes, you're here again.
Cheers. Yes.
Can't stay away.
Yeah, loving it. So what are the clutches you got tonight, Brent? Elude us to what you had.
Freaky zebra head Axanthic. It's actually what they call the molester line. It's from the lark side of things from years ago. I'm just not a great fan of the molester name, as many are not. I get the name. It's just not a...
Just because it's molested the pattern and not the children.
That's exactly right. So, but
we'll just call them Freaky Zebras.
We'll call it Freaky Zeb, but to give credit where it's due, it is from Lark's Line stuff. Well, it's Lark's Line Axanthic, actually. I actually made the Freakies myself from coastal to zebra pairing. It's actually from a super zebra to a Ghost Jag that made the heads. So there's some Freaky Zebra head Axanthics. Two of those girls are ready this year. So this girl was paired to a Ghost Jag, Lark's Line, one that I bred many years ago also. So hoping to get some Axanthic Freakies and Ghost Freakies.
So these are kind of offspring that you've produced from those original ones you got from Lark's all those years ago?
Yeah, way back. I started with heads from Lark's. Yeah, it'd be close to it maybe. It's a while ago. They were probably 2010, 2011-ish or something.
So in terms of Axanthic stuff, there wasn't many options around as to where you could get them from back then? Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Lux was killing it. He had all the cool stuff. I drooled over his animals for a long time, and then finally saved up all my pennies. So it was a big step back then. Like Axanthic stuff was bugger all. Lester had his jungle line going. The only coastal one proven was lark stuff. So,
yep.
Cool animals.
Yeah, very, very nice. That's for sure. So it should be an exciting clutch. And what's the other clutch you got, mate?
The second one is this stupid caramel granite that is starting to annoy me. This is the last chance. This was a clutch of 17 that's down to 11, which was from a long, long time ago. I did, when I only had double head granite stuff, I did a double head granite to coastal, just to get caramel coastal, just to get some caramel blood in the mix. So this clutch will be. I wonder what's the sire of this clutch now. I'm thinking whether there's jag in it or not. I don't think so.
Well, I guess
sorry.
That might get answered when we undo it.
That's what made the mother. Yeah, so that's the caramel 50% post double head granite albino mother.
Yep.
And to get it done this year, I paired her finally after. I reckon this is her 4th or 5th year of attempting to breed. And finally, this year she got it done, and I put her with a granite 100% head albino. So it'll prove her either way, whether she's head granite, head albino, or head nothing. So we'll find out. There's one head poking out, and there's no clues because it's just a caramel head poking out. So none of the others.
There's caramel in there. That's good.
That's a great start.
That's a good start.
I will be absolutely overjoyed if she's just a head granite. That's all I want, because it should give me half the clutch will be granites and half of that half will be caramel granites. But if she proves not a head granite, then
caramel granite is a next year issue.
It'll be you wasted 5 clutches this year to get something you didn't get finally. So.
Oh, I'm also familiar with that. So okay. Same me. A few more. Hello, we've got Jamie McGuinness, Kira Jade, Mr. Muzz Williams, Chloe Shaw, Faye, hey Faye, Mitch, Ford, Keegan, Colin Schumacher. Is that Miss Daz and Brent, or you miss Daz and Brent?
That's a Miss Daz. I read it as Miss Daz. That's hi Cole, hi Miss Daz and Brent. Yeah, hey mate.
Yeah. Less the most malt there. Troy Gangster, call it mole like I do.
Yeah, freaky mole.
Donna Bennett, Newton Morelia, they're beautiful, but the name never felt right to say. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always called them freaky, like don't like the other name, Unfortunately, even though that's, as soon as you say that the name molester, it's automatically given bad thoughts, not necessarily that it deserves, the association with children as it does, because it could be, anything.
Yeah,
but
exactly. But
the lace monitor molested the rabbit on the weekend.
Indeed, they do.
There's Dynamite Pythons. Hi. He's saying, he's trying to throw you some of his caramel magic. Don't want to know what that is. It's obviously something secret between you two.
No, mate. I don't know who he's talking about. Molested caramel stuff. I'm not involved.
Yeah. Stuart Gamble. G'day, mate. Good luck, Brent. Stephen Judd. Daniel Millard. So, Daniel Millard asks, how my maternal incubation going? Oh, well, if you've got time, I'll show you. So that actually came out. So let me just get my face off here a little bit. So we'll get through
your high-tech maternal setup this year, eh?
Yeah. She's still in there, but all the bubbies are out.
No escapees? They held up all right?
Yeah, they did. Well, being in the Vision hatchie racks, they're not massive children's.
They're sort of built for it, but
yeah, kind of built for it. They're fine. I am a little bit more concerned about the other ones in the V35 gap, in the V35 tubs.
You might be sliding sheets of cardboard under those to press them hard up.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of a gap on the top of those. So I kind of check them as soon as the head pokes out. I'll probably take mum off and chuck them in the incubator. So, no, my luck, I'll probably forget them, get carried away doing something else, and I'll go and go, oh, look at that little baby coming out from the side of the tub. So that's the first one out. So which clutch is this one, mate, before we...
We'll do the Zeb one first because this one's out and the others under this paper towel have been poking their head up non-stop. So this one is the molester, the Freaky Zebra. There's a nice little caramel Zeb out straight up, which is always nice. That one's the leader of the pack. He was fully out and about, so we'll shove him aside while we get his mates out. So hoping... we saw one head of ghosty looking head out, so it'd be very nice to get some sort of ghosty freaky zebra jaguar, I guess would be the big dog of this clutch.
Yeah, it'll be for me, will it? It goes Zeb Jag.
Oh, of course, mate.
Yeah.
I'll get two, so we get one each, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get four. That way we can have a pair of each.
Oh, now you're stretching. I mean, there's not that many eggs here.
Oh, that's enough. We've made another Zeb, is it?
Another Zeb, yes. So we'll just look.
That's a funky looking pattern on that thing.
Well, that should be normal Zeb, but obviously the freaky's in there, so I guess there will be something that's freaky, some things that are not. So
will that focus up a bit closer to the camera there?
I'm just going to get rid of the white paper towel, actually.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of that. Move these into here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Like you look at the head pattern at Zeb, but then you go further down the body, it almost not, but you can almost see the normalish pattern. I mean, you can tell it's zebra, but
it's just not a super tight Zeb.
Yeah, it's a very heavy pattern.
Yep, obviously because we're getting more mixed blood into this. It's there's less zebra, less jungle blood, so we're mixing half coastal.
That's a good looking critter. Oh, I like that. It's different.
Cool,
I can't even see how that goes up. Yeah, I just kind of like the very heavy patterning on it. It's just different. Be interesting to see what the rest turn out like in the rest of the clutch.
Definitely looks set by that head pattern anyway. But yeah, it's tight. Like the banding sections are
tight
like a zebra. It's a couple of pretty scungy looking eggs in this clutch too, which is always good.
You like the scunge?
Scunge. Hello, mate.
Oh, look at that.
Look, calm down.
Caramel Zeb Jag.
Correct as. Jesus, good we have technology. You can see what they are. Is that a wild type?
I know what people say about Jags, but Zeb Jags are one of my favourite pattern critters. I just like them. I got a couple of real cracking caramel Zeb Jag head Axanthics here from last season coming along. So I really like them.
Absolutely. Still, Jags cop their fair share of abuse, but absolutely beautiful animals to look at.
And the couple I got to are super light, so they'll kind of a direction I want to take those back into the white line project I got. So to try to lighten them up and try to get that eventually get that real nice white color through
white line.
Yeah, into the Zeb Jag version.
That'll be the go. It's super. The nice fine stuff is what everyone desires. Ooh. That's the head's zebra, but the body very thick.
Yeah, similar to the other one. Remember the jungle clutch I did last season, and it was a Zeb jungle, jungle. That, and it was like, what are the is it a Zeb? Is it not?
Yeah,
Mate, I tell you now they've got some size and some colour. Not that they're massive, but they're kind of eating hopper plus size mice. You can now start to see the ones that are Zebs. So and most of the ones I thought were Zebs are Zebs. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. It's quite.
So do you think that's a wild type colour, or is there caramel in that one, or is it just a dark caramel maybe?
I thought caramel straight up, and compared to that, you'd say it's wild type for sure.
Oh yeah, yep.
But Yeah, I think it's a wild type, but just that head pattern, I don't know. That's odd. Odd.
Odd.
Could be a wild type, could be a low expression zebra. Not sure, Pyle. Get back in. They're all ready to go. They're all chomping at the bit to be free.
Well, let me out, mate.
Mm.
I want
Good
to
to roll.
break free.
I saw a couple out this morning. There was like 3 or 4 heads out, and I was like, oh, God, there's no way they're going to survive the day. I'm expecting them to come home and find them all exploded, but they have been patient. Oh, that's a light one.
Like a caramali.
Very light one.
Is that a Zeb Jag as well? Or?
That is caramel zebra jag. It's a bit underdone, not quite ready yet, but pull his head back away. But
And
that's
of course,
got more of that.
Axanthic as well.
Yeah, everything will be head Axanthic. That's got more of that freaky, because I've got some from that original clutch. I've got some zebra jaguars from that freaky line, and they have that weird sort of. It's different to the zebra jaguar pattern. It's got the little ocelots and weird striping sort of thing going on.
Yep. Oh, look at that. That's better. Bigger picture. Hey, look at that button.
How'd you work that out?
I just thought, what's that one there with the little one in the corner? Let me try that. That's better.
Let's try a big screen.
Yeah.
The caramel zebra jaguar. Over there. Tell you what, now that I look more at that one might be Axanthic.
I don't know.
Down at the body,
Maybe.
the head doesn't look Axanthic, but down there, the body certainly does.
What colour are the eyes, though? Normally, the Axanthics have that silverish tinge in the eyes. Don't know, mate.
Let me see if we can make the camera answer the question for us. Turn over.
I see what you mean by the colour. Yeah, I don't think it's Axanthic, though.
Nah, the head definitely doesn't look Axanthic, so
yeah,
I'd say it's just a bit of coastal influence in the
polygenics playing the game.
Body. Yep. Yeah, right. Let's roll on. We've got plenty to cut tonight. We haven't got time to be dreaming about what could be.
Rolling. So,
just a Jaguar.
Yep.
Standard Jag.
This is a Axanthic cross Hatchies, isn't it? So,
Ghost by.
Yeah, we haven't had much luck with the visible stuff in terms of Axanthism.
No, so far there is none. Providing that one's not, but
and why? Just hold there for a sec, Brent, before you do that one. I'm just going to share this for a sec. What I was saying about the eyes. So this is one of mine. And you can see in there, you can kind of get that silverish look in the eye. In that.
Yep.
So, yeah. Stop that. There we go.
Definitely a much clearer sign for the Axanthic and Ghost stuff. The eyeball gives it away. Oh, this one's looking better.
Getting a more grey tinge to it.
This is looking much better.
That's got to be mine. Look at that pattern down the side, will you?
Wow. See, that's the freaky zebra jag pattern.
Look at that.
Crazy lines and ocelots, and it's weird pattern. Like, it's really, you almost can tell that the freaky's in it.
Yeah.
Those tiny, fine little ocelots the freakies get come through in the jag stuff. Look at that head pattern too.
Yep. A few shout outs in the chat going on. They're all like, wow.
That's a nice snake.
So, Garth Rankin's in to say hello. G'day, Garth. Joe Forza.
Oh,
Cassidy Marshall, that's stunning. Garth's wow. Chris says, you beauty. Yeah, I reckon.
I wonder if it's Garth or if it's Faye on a ban again and she needed to use Garth's account.
Maybe she's banned. Yeah. I'm sure that says on the side that is Daz's. I'm sure.
It's written in Egyptian or something.
Mate, that's going to be a cracker. Look at that.
That is a nice snake.
I like how it's just got that pink stripe and then virtually nothing, and then that real freaky pattern down the side.
Yep.
That's a very good looking critter.
That's the big one. That's the one that we were
hoping for
with this clutch.
Absolutely.
Go back in now. he's a little bit excited about coming out now.
He's like, yeah, he's seen me on the picture. He's going, I'm going to his house.
just waiting for a mate.
Yeah.
Head pat's mental. I'll see if I can get him to sit still there. He's got like almost a circle and stuff going on his head.
So what's his name? Donut?
Wendy's.
That's it.
Donut King.
Glenn Thomas, that's nice. Chris, shotgun that one. Too late, mate. Sorry, rebags it. Yeah, you're right. Faye, I don't know. She hasn't said she's in trouble, but Garth's actually Faye. So not to confuse anyone.
Not to be tricky.
So
What
just
Glenn's done? As Glenn Thomas would have done the Ghost Zebra freaky stuff by now with Jag in it, surely.
I don't know. In chat, maybe you can answer. I was just about to get him, so that's nice.
I'm not sure if Larks had done it with Jag yet, but I thought Glenn was on it. Glenn was well ahead of this project. I think he's done these for a couple of years.
Oh, Faye says her iPod can't take headphones. There we go.
There you go. There's just a little caramel.
Very nice. Still 100% head Axanthic.
Yep. Still a very solid head pattern on that compared to, oh man, calm down. These things are more than ready. So that's where it makes me think that other one definitely is a zebra when I see the head pattern on that. Yep. And then you look at, see if I can get this up here.
Before it launches out.
Head pattern on that one, yeah, it's about to just fly. Easy. They're more than ready though. They seem like they're.
Yeah, once they pip that egg, it doesn't take them long, and some are more than ready to come out.
Nearly all of these, I reckon, had laid the egg this morning. They were not far off, ready to launch. So
great, yeah. And Joe, he's ready to exit the egg, sure was. Glenn says, yeah, I have a couple, but I only ever got the one Jag. That's what Glenn Thomas is saying.
Yeah, cool. I thought he'd be on it.
Yeah.
That is Axanthic.
Oh, another Axanthic. I think my wife got upset yesterday because she goes, "Oh, is that an Axanthic one?" I said, you know, there's a H in it.
Not like you see the gangsters online calling it Anks. Apparently, that's the new shorthand for Axanthic.
I said it's Axanthic. You know, thick, like some that call it Axanthic. There's a H in there. Yeah. That's nice. I like the Axanthic stuff. Yeah. Yep,
that's just a straight Axanthic.
Yeah.
A solid head, no zebra in that one, but nice colour. Pick that nice contrast straight away.
And when you put that beside that other one that you're questioning, you'll probably see a difference in it too.
Yeah. Yep. That's when you sort of go, okay, that one's just a normal.
Yep.
Sticking over there.
And the Wildie's going, yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple of Axanthic things finally. Axanthic and a Ghost.
Might want to put that one in the tub before it cruises off and goes down the sink or something.
Yeah, he's going the wrong way for the sink, but we'll show him away. Stay in here with you, mate. Alrighty, one to go.
Alrighty then.
You wait, pal. Lucky last. Another Ghost, something would be nice.
Would be.
Even just a Ghost Zebra, I think would be cool.
That's something I'll go and line up, hope, to get I really like that. Just a really nice contrasted Axanthic Zebra Jags on my wish list, but I'll take a Ghost version as well in the white line. I've got some of the pics of the white line stuff here. I'll show you in a minute.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
It's Caramel Jag.
Jag, yep. Looks nice and light too, by the look at it.
Yep. Your standard Caramel Jag.
Yep.
Nice animal all the same. Just lacking the extra gene we were hoping for, but mate, more than happy with that. That thing is mental. I just want to have one quick, see if I can get this thing to zoom while it's in the right spot on that head pattern. Focus, you scumbag.
Oh, yeah.
Let me move these, I'll get it lower. Yep.
Yeah, look at that. It's almost got like a smiley face. Looking at it that way, you can almost see a bear, a couple of ears on either side, a couple of eyes and nose, and a few dots around the bottom for the mouth. There.
You've got such an imaginative brain, Darren. I don't see bears today.
Probably not for now. I'd just see a little smiley face on it, but yeah. And again, I see lots of things. I see dead people.
I bet there's things that go through your head most people don't want to know about.
Yeah. Cassidy says it looks like a frog, so there you go.
They're all coming out now. All right, we'll take these ones away.
Samuel says head pattern reminds me of the old Majora's Mask. There we go.
Yeah, it's different.
Nick asks, is that Axanthic Brent the Freaky Jag? The Freaky Jag one? Or, sorry, you're Freaky. You mean one of the parents, is he talking about?
I don't know. What was the question? Is that
Axanthic Brent?
The Freaky Jag. Yes, this one. Yep. Well, it's Ghost, actually. It's Caramel Axanthic. This one is Caramel Axanthic Freaky Zebra Jaguar. It's got it all in that one. That's
Dash
nothing
for
left.
Darren.
Dash, there was just one, so get in the queue.
Yeah. So while you're looking, my kind of plan is to, let me just pop that up while you're just tightening at the next one.
Yep.
So I envision having like that pattern. Oh, what is going on there?
That's what inside your head looks like?
Pretty much. I obviously didn't like to play that game. Let's try that again.
Didn't want to screen share very nice.
There we go. That's better.
That's
so
nice.
I like those kind of...
that's light, isn't it?
Black and white. There we go. So if you kind of get like that in that Zeb Jag pattern like you've got there, that'd be wicked.
That in Zeb Jag or Freaky Zeb Jag, even just that in Freaky Zebra would be beautiful.
Like that one.
Yep. That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that. Well, sorry, I'm sidetracking my own animals going, I don't remember taking these photos. White Line Ghost. Yeah. All right, stop that. Get back to you if you're ready.
I'm still setting up here. All right, let's play. Make Brent cry because there's no caramel granites this year.
Oh,
let's just get it done.
Let's not do that. Go get caramels.
That's a weird egg. There's some big fat mongy eggs in this thing.
Wait, you got to take the one, the furthest away from you on your left, that big fat one with the big brown stain on it. Yep, that's the first one you're going to cut,
that's
mate.
Monkey dirty. It had a couple of eggs go bad. Look at this thing for a putrid looking egg.
Oh, and that one, that's second.
I don't even know if that feels a little bit mushy. Like it's not going to, whatever's in that, probably I don't want to be near. But we will open it and see all the same. So we have entirety one slit, one poking head out.
Might as well get that out.
Caramel.
Yep.
And then one with a slit, and from there on we are totally in the dark.
Oh,
eggs too. They're real thick.
Yep. Well, Mitch is like going to bed on it. I already opened a bottle.
Yeah, mate. Are we going to double or nothing on granites or no granites? Because it's a 50-50 clutch. I'm
going to have a lose here again tonight. I'll go to give you the other winning ticket. I'll go for the caramel granite in the clutch.
It's caramel granite. So if I don't get a caramel granite, I
win granites or caramel granites in the clutch. And if you don't, you win.
I'll make it easy for you. Any granite, because it's a 50%.
Yeah, granite, that's what I'm saying. If there's a caramel granite or granites in the clutch,
any granite. Yep. And you win the bottle.
Yeah.
If there's not, then I cry, but win a bottle.
Yeah.
Yep. That works.
Like, yeah.
Right. Well, it's 50-50, really, so it could be anything.
Yeah, that's the other way. So yeah, if there's granites, I get a bottle. If there's no granites, you get a bottle. How's that sound?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say in English.
Yeah. English? Is that what's that?
That's my second language. Another just caramel. Head up there. So no Jaguars in this. We'll just see if we get absolutely nothing. No proving outs. We'll get just caramels and normals. If she proves granite, I guess we'll get some caramel granites and granites.
It'll be interesting if she proves albino as well.
If the albino, we should see quarter clutch albino something. I'm scared what's inside this egg because it is it is not present.
You never know.
You never know.
Might be
So we
just
could
goop.
see albinos, we could see granites, we could see both. We could see lots of nothings.
Your mum says, Jen says, I call 2 caramel granites.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Yep. You can tell that egg wasn't quite right.
Mm.
Did it pip?
Very
Did
underdone.
it pip the egg on its own?
No, I cut it. It was not pipped. That's definitely not. It's got pattern on it.
Over like a 747.
Normal pattern. Oh, that stinks.
Don't blame the rotten egg, Brent.
I better remember to take that out. Sure, it'll kill me if I leave that sitting there in the bin.
Get some Rexona.
Woo. That was bad. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to clean these scissors for a second too, because that white goop coming out of that was far from pleasant and far from fresh.
We need to do a late night R-rated version.
Stay clean. We're still in PG time, Des.
Yes, definitely.
All right, 8 to go. Come on, granite.
Come on.
Any granite. Granite will give me hope. Then I've just got to find caramel granite. Or just do it in one. Just give me caramel granite now. Stop dicking me around. It's bullshit. Oh, this looks light. No, it's caramel.
Caramel.
And it's just caramel.
Yeah. Samuel Dimmons says nothing takes the stench of rotten snake egg out of the nostrils. You got that right.
Oh, no.
Jeez, that's nice. That's really like that one, isn't it?
It's very light. There's definitely just one possible copy of the caramel gene in there, so definitely not a super, just a nice variation of caramel in the mix.
Well, that's why we say, you can't pick a super just because it's light in colour, because there's a prime example of one that cannot be super.
So,
look at the difference.
Mm.
Anyone can go, oh, this one's probably
one's a super, mate.
Yeah.
One's a super.
Yeah. Double the price, mate.
Well, they had granite, which is a start, but not a super. Come on, 3 caramels. At least the caramel's pumping, but I don't like there's that many caramels out and no granite yet. Granite,
caramel, granite. I don't want to be broke.
Oh, caramel again.
Ah.
Just caramel. That head is definitely not a granite head.
Saw the kind of the real orangey and that pattern on the side, and had a little bit of hope there for a moment.
Yes, one of those nice light or sort of reddy sides compared to some that get those white sides like that one.
Yeah.
Good difference in the underbelly colour.
Underbelly.
What a good show that was. So what have we got? 4 caramels. Come on, granite. This is a huge egg. This would have been painful to push out, I reckon.
Twins.
It's just a big egg. Please be granite.
Be a big, giant caramel granite.
It's caramel. We are killing it with caramel, and every egg that's not a granite is killing me.
Still, can't go wrong with the caramels, though. Still good looking critters.
Yeah, that girl can't be super caramel, surely. No, she can't be the mum. So we've just been lucky with 5 from 5 straight caramels.
Yeah, you can have everything from, depending on, if you look at it in a sliding scale, very light to very dark in caramels.
Yep.
I was seeing clutches at mine, you normally pull them out as hatchies and go caramel, caramel, caramel. Then you look at them 12 months later and you go, that's going to be dark. I'm like, well, I've got caramel on it, it'll be caramel. But you can see a difference between a really good looking one and one that's just a bit darker.
A really normal one.
Speaking of the devil, another caramel.
Speaking of caramel,
you're killing it on the caramel odds.
Yep, buddy. Troy the Gangster sent me his bloody caramel mix, all right. It's Caramel Central here. We're still missing one important gene.
Yeah, I reckon. I don't want to be buying another bottle. Jeez, come on.
Yes, 2 down for Daz.
Yeah.
Possibly 4 eggs to go. It's possible there could be still granite because half the clutch should be granite technically.
Yep.
It's not all over yet.
Well,
There
Thalia,
was quite a few eggs that went off too. So
Thalia didn't bring a late note. She's late. She says, "Oh, I'm a bit late tonight. Hey guys, best of luck. May the gods be in your favour." Hopefully.
in favour with the caramels. Julian, what would you know, Jan Smith?
Yeah.
It's Julian, one of our tradie mechanic trailer builder extraordinaires. If you want your car fixed, Julian is the man. If you want the best trailer in probably Australia, Julian is also your man. This one, oh yeah, he's alive. I thought he was a non-runner for a second, but
he was just hiding in there.
Just not quite ready. Caramel, would you believe?
Wow.
All right, mate, chill. Sorry, I thought you were dead. You're not, so stay in your egg now.
Down to 3.
3 to go. 3 to go. Go away, Aussie. They're everywhere out here for some reason. 3 to go. You scared yet, Duz?
Come on. No, I'm holding high hopes.
Oh, the wild type at least.
Right.
Very underdone. That thing's wet as.
Yep. Extra goopy.
Yes, but definitely wild typey.
Oh, Samuel's cursing you now. He goes, now watch the poor bugger pull a granite without the caramel.
Oh, do not say those words. Oh,
there'll be a tantrum at Brent's house, and I'll be laughing my nuts off.
Yes, that would be the ultimate kicking the ball sack. Yes, there's a standard granite. You've only got a few others this year. Have one more.
480 caramels and one granite.
That thing's wet. All right, 2 to go, Daz.
Come on.
I'm going straight to the bottle with your credit card to drown my sorrows if this does not happen. That's so much good. All right, here we go. 2 to go. I'm scared. 2 to go. 2 to go. Oh, fantastic caramel results.
What? You stop cheating and looking at the egg for another caramel. God.
Caramel. Well, this girl is proving that she is nothing but a beautiful caramel girl.
We'll talk about that sort of later on with the locker stuff because, you might have just been completely unlucky.
Absolutely. Yep.
You can't really write her off in one season. I mean, it doesn't look good for her, that's for sure. But, and I guess in a situation like this, Brent, if you actually had a granite albino to put over it, that might help prove out the albino side of her as well.
A little bit quicker.
And also the fact that you actually lost a few eggs too, you never know what those eggs were. They might have been some granites in there, possibly.
17 laid and 11 good, like 11 made it. So, there's 6 eggs that could have been all the granites. Could have been 1 or 2 albinos. So you just don't know. Goopy egg.
Goopy.
And there was one. What's the chances of just a caramel again?
You're beyond reasonable odds at this point in time.
Cast a little spell on it or something. Mm-hmm. Big egg too. Big mongy egg.
Carl Smith says, evening, gents. G'day, mate. Faye reckons the big one will do it. Last one. This is it. Yeah. I don't hear Brent cheering.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Hey, there's a win.
At the last minute, she comes through with head albino out of the.
There you go. Well, there you go. And at least now it's caramel, 100% head albino, POS het granite still at this point in time.
Yep. So it's looking like one of the genes got through.
I was going to say, I would really laugh if that was an albino granite because you didn't get many of those this season.
No, so I'd love one more here. Actually, we've got a funny story to tell about albino granites too, don't we?
Right.
Leave this thing alone because I can tell by the body It's definitely not an albino granite, so I should just
Yep.
leave it to be. Very thick on the sides.
At least now it's an albino 100% head granite.
Yes, so it's probably not carrying the head granite side of things, but anyway, late run on the albinos, mate. So I won the bottle. I did lose all hope of caramel granite for this year, though. That's breeding. That's what happens when you go 5 clutches to get something done, and still it's not happening.
What, 5? Is that all?
That's all, mate. That's more than I normally need. So you don't always get what you want. I've been very lucky with some things not so lucky.
Yep. And like I said before, you would think with that it's a fairly simple combination, being an incomplete dominant and a recessive as opposed to a double recessive trait. I mean, you only have to have one of the parents to be caramel, and theoretically half the clutch will be caramel. So, you just have to get one that's got a granite, and I think it should be fairly simple. Getting a granite albino should be is harder than obviously getting a caramel granite, but you got more of those.
Yeah, it happens. That's how it goes in the world of breeding. There is no givens. It's just what you get. So you got some stuff we can have a quick look at too, Daz, while I finish cleaning up this mess here.
Okay, mate. And I know that we've I'll kind of split the screen again. So, and I know it's something we've spoken about, like after we get through all the egg cutting, we'd like to bring some people on and have a chat to them. And there's a couple I'd like to talk to. One in particular is Mr. Birch, because he's had some interesting. Obviously, he's done quite well with the Antaresia along with other things over the years, but proving out Axanthic max, and also the work he's done with platinums, which leads me to this topic. As you know, Brent, there's a few people out there that said they're incomplete dominant, the platinums. Some people saying they're recessive. Pete, there seems to be a whole lot of debate. I know Pete has probably bred more platinums than anyone else I know. Very difficult. So I decided to just, for my own peace of mind, put a blonde.
Do your own research.
So I put a platinum over one of my blonde girls, and they've hatched here. So I look at them and I can kind of see the blonde patterning in there. The granite patterning in there, or the influence, I should say.
Platinum and blonde.
Platinum and blonde, but no, not granite. That's just me slipping up with other words that shouldn't be in the sentence, which is I'm very good at. I always put in the words that don't belong.
Quite often when I call you, some words that shouldn't be in sentences come out my speaker too for some reason.
Yes, it's a disease. I have verbal diarrhea. So we'll just flick this on. So I just thought, it's an interesting topic, I think. Look at that, hey?
Look at that, we can see snakes.
See snakes.
So this was blonde Mac to platinum Mac?
Blonde Mac to platinum. So let me just get a little. So, and what I mean by what I'm saying is, I've got a little metal shafted rod here. If we look at ones like this guy here, I'll try not to shake, and not that one with the head. Get this one here. You can see down the back here. You can see the striping on it, which none of the blondes have, but it's something I've seen
in the platinum side. You think?
In platinum side of things. So you kind of see, and over here again, you can see like the real reduced pattern on the back of this guy. And you can see one over the side here, same thing. You can kind of see a bit of striping, and down towards the tail tip, we can see more striping. So to me, it kind of, that, if you look at the back of that and compare that to a platinum, similarities are there. So to me, that's kind of indicating more that it's an incomplete dominant type trait rather than a recessive trait.
Through.
Because, when we look at it in genetic terms, if it's truly a recessive trait, then it is masked or dominated by the other trait. In this case, if platinum was truly recessive, all these should just look like normal blonde max. And they don't. There is a difference between them with someone with an educated eye that's, obviously I've bred plenty of blonde max over the last 20 years.
Yep. You can notice the difference.
I can notice the difference. And when this clutch hatched out, the first thing I looked at was like, well, hang on, some of these patterns are different. So, whereas incomplete dominant, the scientific ruling, I guess, as you could say, if there is something genetically, visibly different in the hets, then it's not recessive. It's incomplete dominant.
Yep.
So therefore, if you
notice anything in the color, or are they more like the color of what blonde max are? I mean, they look light to me.
Well, they haven't. There's only
plenty.
One's literally just shed. Like these didn't shed, and this guy in here is just shed.
Yep, which is still soft.
Which is this dude over in this corner that's coming out of the tub. So I might just grab him out. Good old feisty ants.
Slippery little suckers. They get moving.
Yep. They want to just... Let me just try to wrestle him in here for a sec. Just let him settle down.
Give him that little Darren cuddle hold.
Yep. You won't want the other one. There we go.
That's light, isn't it? That's beautiful.
Yeah, they're really, really light. And I wanted that influence. I mean, obviously they're both max, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I wanted the influence. But yeah, seeing that pattern up towards the tail, I'll just get him to sit here again for a sec. And like, I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be. I'm not saying I know all the answers and that sort of stuff. But obviously,
it's one clutch too. It's
the way things are held is the same.
Plenty.
Yeah. So once this guy started, so if we look up towards the tail end, you can see a bit of striping.
Yep.
And pattern reduction. So I don't know. It's just me. I just thought it was interesting and curiosity. Let's put that skin tail out later. So here they go. Good old ants. Once they decide to go, they are going.
It's on.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
So blonde, you think just the poly side of it, and the platinum incomplete dominant?
Well, look, I'm no expert. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but the way I try and look at it in amateur scientific form, is it's simple. If it's recessive, the hets aren't noticeably different. They look exactly the same as the wild types, hence why we get poss hets.
Yeah.
Right? You can't tell the difference in any way, shape. There's no visible physical traits on the animals that can allow you to pick the difference. When I look at these, I see different to my blondes. So I think the next kind of stage for this would be just to grow them up. And this is where I'd love to talk to Pete, maybe Mitch Daly, some of the other guys that have done a bit of work with these sort of things. And ask them where they, just a general chat, like question them, why have they come to the answers and that they've had and they've seen and stuff like that. So
maybe they're 3 years down the track and they've paired up some of those things that you think would be the incomplete dominant to see if there's a super form and there's nothing. And
like the next stage in these would be to grow these guys up, pair them back together, and then have a look in the clutch. And I'd imagine you're going to see, in essence, 3 phenotypes, which is standard for incomplete dominant. You're going to have your Wildie, you're going to have your visible hat, and you're going to have your, in brackets, super.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I know Pete's worked with platinums for a long time. I know he's had a lot of conflicting evidence over the years and a lot of confusion as to whether it's this, and when he expects to get answer A, he gets result B, and, a lot of that sort of stuff. So, I know I've chatted to him quite a bit over the years about him and other stuff. So I think once we get through it, I think sort of topics like this, I think are really, really cool to talk and make people aware of and get other people's opinions, inputs.
Because there's always so many, you hear the whispers and the people talking about it and no one cares to sort of publicly state what they think. There's all the experts out there who like to say you're an idiot because this happened, you don't know what you're talking about. So people often don't want to listen to other people's shit, so they don't bother telling their story. So it'd be nice to have a civil conversation exactly and why it is what it is and what everyone's findings are,
Yeah. So as you know, last year we cut a few marble T+ clutches, right? and we got a whole pile of marbles and a few wild types.
No T plus.
And I've probably done, I think, about 10 clutches, right? To the point it's been that bad. I actually have another clutch in there which I didn't bring out, which is another one of these. So up here there's a whole heap of marble T plus up here behind me. And the other clutch hatched first, right? And all wild types and marble.
And I'm still no T plus. You're thinking, Darren, you've lost a gene somewhere.
Well, it was the one you asked the other night, and I said, I just hit marble because I'd actually gone and had myself convinced that I'd made a mistake. And I'm like, I look back through everything, and I'm like, I thought, did I use a different dad? I'm sure I put this marble in with my T plus children's, everything, but not having produced a T plus in over 10 clutches. Yep. So
start to wonder.
Kind of getting a little bit frustrated, I decided to maternally incubate some. Just here, putting very minimal effort into it. And this was the clutch that actually hatched maternally just the other day. So finally I took them out, and guess what? I finally proved so I did actually do the right thing. I shouldn't question or doubt myself. So I've actually got marbles, and I've got T plus in there, and obviously a couple of wild types trying to play water bowl wrestling, trying to kill each other. So I did actually do what I said.
Fun game in the spa.
Yeah, spa partners. Just need to add some jelly. I'll be fine. Jelly wrestling. So this is that clutch which you took out. So we'll just move the water bowl. Don't need that. So
a couple of T plus in there.
Yeah. So I actually think this guy here.
Wow, that's light. That's Tarbal.
I think that might be a Tarbal. So I went back and looked at. Remember, I picked that clutch last season. I think I had. It was like 1 or 2 wild types and like 7 marbles or something or other in it.
Yep.
And I went back and had a look because I kind of, they come out. I really don't pay much attention to anything. Like literally, if I'm cleaning, it comes out, gets chucked in another tub. Or lately, I'm just doing a tub swap. So it's literally tub out into the new tub and in it goes.
Yep.
And I kind of decided to have a better look. So I pulled all the marbles out, had a look. Then I pulled another one out and completely different, a lot more pinkish. I guess, peachy colour compared to the other ones, which are starting to develop that normal marble patterning that you see now that they're getting on at 12 months. So I actually think that this guy here is a Tarbal. Certainly, I'm not an expert, so,
The colour visibly much lighter than its friend in the corner.
Yep, he's a little bit runty, this one, but yep. So there's definitely a difference in the
head pattern.
Well, that's... Having chatted to, Brett Moy and others and stuff and Marty and that, like they say it's normally in the head. So you can see this one here, it's actually got no pattern whatsoever. And this one over here has obviously got quite a darker pattern. But it's actually,
marble happening.
Yep, but it's actually nice to get a couple of... I find if I use something cool and not my hands, they tend to just sit there a little bit... Well, speak of the devil. They kill each other. Hey, mate, get out, mate. There we go.
And now there's a killer python on the loose.
Yep, that's it. Once they start, there we go. That's probably a woman. It's probably a female, that one. I'm just kidding. So,
nice light T pluses too, though. They're even for T plus, they're nice and light.
Yeah, so I'm very happy that I've now proven myself not to be insane completely. Just partially.
And there's another guy I know who can have that many clutches and not get him, that Darren Whitaker bloke. He's very unlucky with those odds too.
Mate, that guy, he sucks. He sucks at breeding stuff. He's got no idea, that clown. So
it just goes to show the odds are never exact. They're always a rough estimate, and you can be extraordinarily unlucky for a long time.
Yep. And this was the maternally incubated clutch. So as you can see, they came out. They're all nice and happy and healthy and all looking good. I absolutely put zero effort. Well, I shouldn't say zero effort. I did put a little bit. But they had
the power turned on. That was
left the power turned on, put water in the water bowl.
Yep.
And that helped.
How many eggs were they? What was the results as far as how many eggs made the distance?
So that was something interesting. There was, I think, 3 eggs that had gone off in the clutch. So we often talk about it, Brent, how the eggs normally, if they die on the inside, and then you see the results on the outside later. So if the egg goes off, it's gone off. It's still on the inside. It doesn't matter what you do on the outside. It's inside's already cactus.
Yep. Hence a Mongo one I cut earlier. It's starting to show bad signs on the outside, and people are at that point trying to save it. And clearly on the inside, it's all over.
Yeah, and if you'd left that egg in the incubator for another 2 weeks, that would be quite ripe and pungent, I'm sure. So, so I thought, because we often attribute things going wrong to incubation technique, water or, use perlite or whatever.
Temperatures,
humidity. All that sort of stuff. But it's interesting to see that these guys all hatched, had no problems, whatever, yet still in the clutch. There was a couple of eggs that had just gone, they just dried up, were hard, gone off coloured slightly, and never went the distance. And I've got another clutch up there as well that looks the same. You kind of give her a little bit of a nuzzle to have a look, and you can see a couple of eggs that are gone, but then around the other side, you can actually see some that are still white and still cooking the distance. So,
nice, fat, healthy hatchies too. They look robust.
Yep. And this one over here is quite darker, that one. Well, then again, the others have probably come up for a shed, so most of them probably had a shed. They're kind of in that, bluish phase, obviously.
Yep, dull enough. Darren Boswell sells finally some real snakes, and he's asking, is this a double head to double head?
Yes, mate. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Double it T plus marble to double it T plus marble. So, yeah. And I'm pretty happy to get the 2 marble, well, 1 marble and maybe 1 table and a couple of T plus. So, that'll go with the other stuff. So, like faces, that's why umpteen eggs. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So
they don't all get there.
Yep. So happy with that little clutch. A couple more little keepers in there. That's the way, kill each other. That's the way. Hopefully you do that when I put a pinky in there.
You put a pinky in there.
Or when they're separate. no. Throw one little live pinky in there and go, all right, first in, best dress. Sure no...
Get it done.
All right, there we go. Look, killing for time. So then, unfortunately, like I said, I had a smashing headache. These are one of my favourite ones to breed every year.
We were going to bet on this too, Daz. We were going to play this game, and you failed me. I was actually going to go for albinos for you too.
I don't even know what it is, other than there's a pot. So there was. Remember, I couldn't remember the clutch. It was 26 good and 5 slug. So this clutch of 31.
Yep.
This one. I think the other one was 32, but she slugged out, unfortunately. But it's a nice little. Might keep that handy.
That lid for when they erupt.
Yep. Well, this guy's already gone. Oh, what's out there? So these are my pure albino Darwins. I just love these guys. They're one of my favourites. Like, I don't know what it is, just something about a nice pure albino Darwin. Such a cool critter. And these are big, fat, chunky babies too.
Still, after all these years, the albino is still just so dramatically different to the wild type.
Yeah. Just try and bolt this one up. 3 bolts everywhere. There you go. Settle down, mate. It's easy to see how some of the colours in some of these lighter ones, you could almost think they're like caramels. It's easy with that Darwin influence.
Yep.
Drink.
Yeah.
And he's gone. Now I'm not hanging around. Just wants to focus. You can see how some of the light some of these get. And you got some that are quite dark over here. And then you do this and then watch them all go everywhere. This guy's off watching.
Now you've woken the beast.
Yeah. I don't know. It's obviously cool to see. I have no idea how many's not how many's in here. Well, I don't know how many's in here, but I don't know what the ratio between the albino and wild types is at this point in time. So I haven't counted them literally.
Fairly even by the look of it. Maybe an extra wild type or 2. Just there's a lot of brown there, but in the middle. But who knows? So it'd be cool to count them up later and see.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just love the pure albino Darwins. So I know I'll be holding back a few of the albinos again this season. Just to chop up. I've got a few there. I'll back a couple every year. So that's kind of it for me for show and tell. I'm not sure if I can...
David said he's at albino to a head.
Yes, that's albino, the head albino Darwin. So there we go. Let's have
the pairing you've been doing for 15 years.
He's Jeez, how much effort I've put into these. Right.
What happened to Ronaldo's head, mate?
He lost his head. So there we go. There's another little one. See a little slug sitting there. I just left. So I purposely don't want to disturb them. Like I've just let them hatch. It almost looks like granite colour, doesn't it? Looks like.
Yeah, it's crazy under the light.
So
straight under the paper.
This is actually a bit of a mix I've done. So for a reason. But there we go. You can see all the eggs. Lovely. So she's happy. Like I don't like to disturb them. So I literally just
sit.
Leave them. Yep.
She's smart enough. She's sort of got them not directly over the heat, just off to the side of where the heat cord would run.
Well, one actually laid directly on top. She just struck the paper then because it moved as I slid the cupboard. One actually laid directly on the heat cord. And obviously I wasn't overly happy about that. So I actually just gently, luckily they hadn't started the thing, I just gently slipped all the egg, the clutch, not with my hands. I actually had put on a pair of gloves because I didn't want to feel body heat or anything, and just gently slid her up,
over.
A couple of inches.
Enough.
About 12 inches, about that far.
You're 12 inches.
Ding. Just to slide her up, just to take her off that direct heat from above the heat cord. Other than that, when they first laid, it was a little bit dry. I was concerned about it being dry, so all I did was just take some water in a bottle. I never actually sprayed her. I never sprayed the eggs. I just dampened the paper away from her, so I didn't actually pour water in. I just created a mist on the paper, so it didn't. Obviously you don't want to. Yeah, I remember talking to Birchie once, and he was saying, he was worried and concerned about that in his trial days, and put some water in and caused they got wet and soaked and caused eggs to go off. So that was in the back of my head, and I thought, well, I'll just put some moisture in there, but without actually. So just spraying that paper, just a light mist, just to bump the humidity. Because the biggest problem with these, as you know, is heaps of ventilation, lots of heat. So it dries out the humidity very quick. But that was literally, I did that, I think, once every second day for like 3 days at the start when they laid. And I haven't touched them since, other than making sure they've had water. So, I really put, it's trial and error. Like you can put as much effort or as minimal effort. So I was like, well, let's just see what happens when you do Bayer all and see how they go. And
true.
There's the result with that clutch down there. And
the results are good.
Yeah, and there's another 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go here, and 2 more in the front room. So
Mr. Venom stuff said, did you feed the mothers while maternally incubating?
Nope, haven't touched them. They're probably starving. So look at F6 up here. So this is the one. This was Mum. She's obviously having a drink. She's looking at probably get my hand off. But we can see. I just flick that camera back on. Could make for some entertainment if I get nailed.
A nice warm night, so you can bleed a little.
So there's Mum. Hasn't been fed at all. Obviously, she's looking a little bit more active now. Or she's looking for the kids.
Yep.
So
probably looking for food by now, possibly.
Yep. She's pretty good. Like, she was actually extremely placid during the whole process. So
still got some decent size on her. She's not she's not too thin.
Yep. So, she's obviously lost a bit of condition, through that whole thing. But, yeah.
Yep. Adrian was saying he wanted to see some adults. Well, there's the mother of that one. So
it's Mum. It's the mum of the marbles and T+.
Yep.
So I'll just chuck her back up. now that she doesn't want to play the game.
Sound well?
Yeah. Okay, collect up me. Oh. There you go. So she'll be up for a few feeds now. I mean, when we consider artificial incubation, half of that reason is so that we can actually get condition back on the females for breeding the following season.
Yep.
So, that's just the next challenge, I guess. But we look at the time frame, and mate, you can get enough condition on them in the next 3 to 4 months, no problems whatsoever.
Easy, mate. They come back very well, especially if they've got a lot of condition going into season. Obviously they put a bit into the eggs, but they're still in pretty good shape after season. It's that cycle continues, so it's not hard to get them back up to good condition very quickly.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to us saying all the time, like, your females need a bit. You go to any vet with a snake, almost every vet will go, "Oh, it's fat, so obese. It needs to go on a diet." But you need that sustenance. You need that bit of chunkiness in a girl for her, because if you've ever seen a female that's bordering on condition after she's laid a clutch, it is skin and bones.
Yeah,
like skin and bones after they lay a clutch, and it can take. You might not get another clutch out of that girl for the following season because you just can't get the weight. She doesn't
want to get going.
Yeah, you can't get the weight. You can feed her all you want, but to rebuild the muscle and the fat content and everything that she's burnt during the development of those things. When you consider they can have up to 40% of body weight put into an egg clutch, like that's massive. I wish I could take 40% of body weight and put it into something and get rid of it. But, you know what I mean? So that's a lot of energy that's burnt during a really short period of time over a couple of months, that they get rid of. So, to have that extra condition on after that, to still have a little bit of condition on, once they've, gone through egg deposition, means they're going to put it on so much easier. And it's a personal choice. If you want to breed them again the following season, at least it's not a hard push to do so. You can feed them once a week and give them a decent feed, and they will get that condition back on.
Yep. David's saying, how many days did she maternally incubate for? Compared to normal incubation.
Oh, that would have been fascinating data to have if I actually knew the day she actually laid. So
it's somewhere in the range of normal.
I don't know. So I probably should have paid more attention, but unfortunately the head wasn't going where it should be. So it was like, oh, this one's on eggs. So
it's often going.
But once I was there, obviously made sure the animals were fine and doing okay. So next season, I'm going to do the same thing. Obviously, paying a little bit more attention and compare it, because I think that's quite interesting. I know, I mentioned Pete's name a lot, but he's done so much work with Antaresia. And I think it was last season where he actually had one of his ants maternally incubating, but she'd actually had a couple eggs set aside that she wasn't called up on, which he took and then artificially incubated. Yep. And the ones that she was sat on hatched I think it was something like 10 days earlier. It was ridiculous. It was like 40-something days sooner. And they all hatched. Even the ones he took away and incubated still hatched. But it was like a massive difference between the time frame of what she incubated them at compared to the artificial incubated ones, which is quite interesting, really. So
you'd think maternal would be longer. They have less control, not perfect temps, and it's inconsistent temps.
I think it's interesting because it shows we do what we know, whereas it's instinct for them. They're just doing what they maternally know what to do. So, if they think those eggs aren't warm enough, they're going to shiver on them.
Yep, and they're smart enough, they'll push slugs out of a clutch, or eggs that aren't going to incubate well. They know they're not right, even just laying them. So they definitely got a better intuition than what we have. So
yeah, definitely.
Gaz Langley saying, what T plus line did Damien Hyde use? That's who bred my Ghost Post T plus.
The original T plus line that was around was from Craig Ladder, the original first line of T plus
Just
children's.
the standard children's line. It was long before we had the fancy stuff we have these days.
Yeah, so that was
Colin Rays and those lines.
Yeah, so they were the first T plus that were proven out. Was Craig Ladder, which, geez, that would have to be mid 2004, 5 maybe, something like that. So they were the first T plus around, and I'm pretty sure Damien's would have been from that line, because I don't think Damien had T plus stimmies or any of that sort of stuff. So
yeah, would have been just the standard
T
plus of the day.
Pretty sure we only have the one T plus children's line. There's no second line, unlike, there's the Colin Ray's T plus, and Dave Evans has a line of T plus where they originated from. I'm not sure. I know where Colin Ray's did, but not sure where Dave Evans ones come from. But yeah, so they're only 3 types that I know of that are around. Not to say someone else hasn't got something else hiding in their collection, but they're 3 proven different lines.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gav says, how can I prove him out? You're just going to have to start breeding it to each of the T pluses and see what magic comes.
Yeah. If you just got the one, what was it that you had, Gaz?
You had a Ghost POS T plus. So being a POS is also going to be fun, because if it's not, you're going to breed it to 3 different T pluses and you still get nothing.
If that's the case, you need a T plus. I mean, I know there's heaps of people that say stuff. I mean, ghosting. I had ghosts back in the day, and they're polygenic thing. I know there's other people think they're not, but they are. I've bred them.
Been a topic of debate.
Although originally, the ghost children's were originally found by Anthony Stimson. He was one that originally had that line. And they were just given the name because, like in many species of python, they'll get that fading. The peppers do it. The rough scales
change.
Yeah, we get that different sort of coloration, and that was where the ghost is from it. So, it's very hard because people will breed a ghost with something else, and obviously being a polygenic trait, you get an influence of that trait in it.
Passed on.
So people think, it's this, but it was plenty of work done with it, and it's only polygenic, but still a good-looking animal. So with your T plus, mate, best thing to do, honestly, if it's Posset T plus, get another T plus. It's unlikely it's going to be anything else other than the T plus children's.
No, just a normal.
And from memory, Brent, I'm pretty sure the T plus children's and Colin Ray's line's compatible.
Yeah.
But they're not compatible with Dave Evans' line.
No, they didn't work together. Yep.
Yeah.
As far as I know it. Talia saying, what size tubs do you keep your adult ants in?
Normally V35 vision racks, which are, I think the 35 reference to, are they like about 35 litre or something or other?
It's supposed to, yep.
So that's what all the big ones are. The ones that are in here, they're not really big. You saw that girl; she's probably only she wouldn't even be 3 foot long. So they seem to love it in there. Whereas some of the bigs like the blondes and the other stuff, they're in the V35s, the blondes, the platinums, the Port Hedland stimmies, and a few of the other local stuff, which seem to be a perfect size. I know other people keeping them in the 70 racks, which are these. You can't quite see them actually. If I flick this to that, so these racks here beside me with some of these carpets in it, they're the 70s. I know people keep them in those as well, but I just think that's a little bit overkill. Don't think they quite need it. So V35 is fine, I think. Anyway, what about you, Brent? What do you keep yours in?
V35, same, mate. The V35 talls. I reckon they probably get away with in the short ones anyway. They're not a big climber. But yes, they're all in normal V35s.
Yeah. Yep.
Elizabeth saying she had a big albino girl. It's 4.5 kilo and 2.2 meters long. The vet said she was the most obese snake he'd ever seen. So I cut her food back. She didn't lay for me. Now I'm going to trust what other breeders have been doing instead of what the vet has said in regards to condition. Well, vets are super smart guys in many areas and girls, but sometimes they are not snake breeders. So what they think is a fat obese snake right before season, not particularly is always going to be. If it was going to be in that condition forever, any vet that saw most of my girls pre-season would say they're all fat and obese, but they're definitely not that way now. That's the end of the year, and they've put all that energy and body mass into eggs. So, and I think Elizabeth sent me a picture of that snake too in the debating times, and it looked thin to me compared to what my girls look like anyway.
Yeah, that's right. I think the other side of that, and it's it's something I know I tell everyone. I'm sure you do the same, Brent. A lot of people make that mistake coming into breeding season. They hear the advice of, you've got to stop them feeding. And you've got to give them a month to heat up so they poop everything out and all that sort of stuff. No, wrong.
Feed them all the way through season.
You can feed them as long as they have heat during the day, in which they can still build up their body temperature to preferred body temperatures and process their food and digest and poop it out when they need to. They will eat all the time. So the worst thing you can do coming into breeding season, for example, is beginning of April go, I've got to stop feeding now. And anyone that watches probably heard me say this 100 times, and then it's still warm till June for whatever stupid reason, El Nino or whatever it is, plays up with the season. The snake doesn't care. It doesn't know whether it's June, July, or October. It just knows if it's warm, I eat. When the temperature starts to get cool, that's when I start to slow down. So you want to maintain the feed, even if you don't want to bulk the girl up or put any more condition on her. If you've been feeding her extra large jumbos, whatever you've been feeding her, still feed her, but maybe drop to a larger.
Large, medium, small, even just mix it up.
Whatever, but just maintain the feeding. Don't stop the feeding up until I don't stop feeding unless I look at the girl and go, nah, she's a beast. And that'll be subject to all my males coming into cycle. So if my males stop feeding, it should be one of your keys when you're going around trying to feed everything, and all of a sudden, notice, might only be one or two boys, and suddenly they get picked. Do you find the same thing, Brent? They suddenly get a bit fussy, and
Absolutely.
then it's like, I'm trying to feed everything today, and half of them don't want to eat. So what's going on?
That's a sign.
Yep,
you're close to go time.
Yep, that's the very first sign of coming into season, and then obviously, the girls will start to follow, and that's the only time I'll then start checking all the girls, looking at the size, looking at the condition, and seeing if I'm happy where they are, and that's when I'll not stop their feeding, but I'll reduce their size feeding. So I'll say, okay, she's all right. I'll just give her a small rat every now and then. So I keep that nice thought train that food's good, condition's good, I've got the weight, I'm good to breed. So that's a key thing. Sorry, mate, I'm rambling on. Go on.
Apparently, there's a couple of other T+ lines out there. Samuel's saying there was a Western T+ children's line, but have not seen any actually sold. Only produced by the ones from the original breeder. So interesting. And Alan Leachy said Venom Staff from YouTube also had a line of T+ stimmies. So there's probably a few out there. They're far and wide. So I guess it's just a matter of what's compatible and what's not these days. What actually works.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if they're actually completely different lines, or whether they're. I mean, let's face it. How many pots? Yeah, exactly. How many possets have been sold out and around that people have that have gone, I'll breed it with this, and bang, something comes out.
People have often contacted me years later. This snake, it's bred an albino, and like now as a posset, like I don't put possets on lots of things that get sold. So, if it happens, congratulations, you won.
Yeah, winner.
Liz saying, when proving out a trait, how do you know if it's a polygenic trait?
It's your turn to talk this time, Brent.
That's a whole show. That's a whole show.
We did actually speak about that. We did actually chat about that in an episode at one point. But
definitely ways to prove it. You basically got to, if it's going to be something that's incomplete dominant, Daz discussed it earlier, you'll see a super form at some stage pairing them back up, and you'll also see in that same clutch half a clutch of the first form and wild types. If it's a polygenic thing, you'll see it in the first pairing as well. You can't have hets, true recessive stuff that having a polygenic trait that is that trait. There should be no visible hets as such if it's a recessive line. So there's certainly ways to prove polygenic stuff out. There's ways to prove it right. There's ways to prove it wrong. So, but it is a very lengthy conversation. So, Gaz Langley saying, who sells Colin Ray T+? Well, funny enough, Colin Ray sells Colin Ray's T+. There's quite a few other breeders who have them now. You got some, haven't you, Daz? Did you get some yet?
Well, I don't have them, but yes, I have them. Yeah.
Fade Rankin has them, bred them. I'm sure quite a few. Marty would have them for sure, I would think.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people have Colin Ray's beautiful stuff out there. For my liking, I think it is the most spectacular T+ line of them all.
Speaking just
do love them.
Thought that I saw. We can do a little bit of a thing here. So, if Facebook, so these are face.
Oh yes.
So she says, my baby's not 12 months old, bred by me, so they'll be the ones of the same clutch that I'm getting. It's fun getting these together for a pick. So they're obviously Collins line. But look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, geez. They remind me of that.
That's beautiful.
That is absolutely. So,
Faye's got 7 eggs for me, she said. She wrote it on Facebook, must be true.
No, she doesn't have 7 eggs.
She got 7 hatchies by now?
I'm sure, yeah. I don't know why Facebook is going really, really slow at this point in time. But I am sure. Facebook's got, there we go.
Yeah, Samuel says, not surprised Faye has them. Of course, Faye is the Antaruja queen. She has plenty of things lurking down there.
So, you trying to say these eggs are yours, Brent?
That bunch, I don't know. I remember Faye saying it should save me a trio for sure. So, they must be 3 of them must be mine in there. That real bright one in the middle will do me. That head to the left against the wall, that is cracking.
This one over here.
Yep. That's my boy.
It's got Daz written on that one.
They must love us fighting over the snake she produced and probably planning to keep.
Yeah, I reckon. So there you go. So there's some of Faye's. They are absolutely stunning. Colin Ray did a fantastic job on getting those out to the market for everyone. That's for sure.
Beautiful line. Beautiful line.
Yeah, I did do some stuff for Faye, so she looked after me with some. So
Faye said there's only 6, so my 3's safe. I don't know about your 3, Daz. You could be in the shit.
My three are a year old now.
Okay. Of course, you'll sneak ahead. I'll probably still breed mine before you breed yours, though. It's okay.
Yeah. Probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. You never know.
Yours might be ready this year by the sound of it.
No, I don't have them yet, but they're good-looking critters. So I suppose, how are we going for questions? What have we got? You're an hour and 23 at the moment.
Yeah. We're falling behind. Samuel says, question on hybridizing, mixing for you both. Where do you draw the line overseas? I've seen greens mixed with carpets and scrubbies with carpets within the Murrelia genus. I was thinking about the lack of morphs in rough scales and wonder if anyone had plans to attempt a mix, or are we solidly against? That's probably a whole nother show too, Daz.
Quick response from me. I think we're not breeding stuff that's ever going to be released into the wild. So they're pets. That's all they are. It's It's a personal opinion. I think what you do with your animals in your house is your choice. The only covenant I kind of put on that is the responsibility of a breeder when you're moving those animals on to be honest with the buyer of what you're actually selling them. Like I remember going back in the day, people go, oh, my bredler accidentally bred with, my Darwin. And then they look at the clutch and go, oh, this one looks more like a bredler. Oh, yeah, mate, it's a bredler and that's a Darwin, because nobody wanted that sort of stuff 20 years ago.
stuff.
Yeah, everyone wanted the pure stuff. So I have heard of people trying to breed albinos with roughies and sort of stuff. For me, it's not something I'm overly interested in doing. I don't really. There's a curiosity side. Don't get me wrong. I see some of the hybrid stuff and bat eaters and all the other types of stuff they get over, and some are absolutely stunning. Some of the carpondros are absolutely gorgeous animals.
Yeah.
It's not me personally. Like I, if there's a genetic reason for it, I want to put an albino in a rough scale python. I can kind of I can see why, because that would be cool.
Yep.
But I'll let you do that.
Yeah.
I kind of don't really have the interest in doing it. I've got enough of my own projects to do to stick within it. So, what about that's mine and you, Brent?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. I mean, if it's carpets, it's pretty mixed in. I know in the States, I had a conversation with someone earlier today from Canada, and they were saying that it's just like a big no-no over there. Bredley still mixed into the normal carpet stuff is just not done. Our Bredley albino, 50% Darwin Bredley mixes we've done here that you kindly kicked off for me and been such a beautiful animal. They're just looked at like you're some sort of freak if you're breeding that stuff over there. It's just a big no-no, much like, carpets and GTPs were here for a long time. But in time, I think, like you say, each to their own, be responsible. There's guys doing it. I know guys doing green tree to rough scale now. There's stuff out there happening all the time. Most people aren't out there advertising it because they don't want the hate associated with it. But they've got to deal with the animals, at the end of the day. They want to push down these walls, then I think eventually a lot more of this stuff will become it's never going to be mainstream. I think it'll just be there'll be a small sector of the hobby that does it and accepts it and trades in it and tries to push it. And there'll be people that'll stick to the general, I'm only working within this genus, just carpet morphs. And there'll be the purists who just do pure, don't want any morphs, don't even care if it's a pure albino Darwin. I just want pure Darwins, So I think everyone's still going to have a place in the hobby. There'll be always, there'll always the people trying to do the weirdest stuff. There'll always be the very conservative people. Yeah,
that's it. That's what I say. What you do in your own house is up to you. Just be honest when you sell it, because that's where the problem arises. You try to sell this and someone else breeds of that. You look at it, like the amount of stuff that you see around, people go, oh, it's pure this. And you look at it and go, shit, screenshot, Brent, check this out, pure, yeah, my ass. There's lots of that goes around. And it's not necessarily that person's fault, because they're told it's pure by the person that sold it to them, who's probably bought it off someone else that's done the wrong thing and told them it's pure. Not. So it's not necessarily that person's fault, which is why I don't say much. But, there's plenty of it that goes around, and it's always been my gripe. If you do any of that sort of stuff, just be honest. Just tell them what you got. Yeah. It's not nowhere near as frowned upon as what it was 15 years ago. And, if you had anything that was mixed blood, God, there was a flaming session for days,
Exactly.
APS screen would burn on fire on your computer,
You'd rush home to dial up the old beep, beep, beep internet. Who's responded to a thread?
Yeah, look at this. 187 responses. Yeah.
That's how old we are. Snake Sentinel, no luck for me on the caramel granite. So, job for next year. David Avery, did I see somewhere albino water pythons? Sure did, mate. Old Marty Bahaja started that little project on the secret of albino olive to the water python. Made the hets, made visuals, wallives or whatever he's calling them, or mini something. I don't know. I think, but I don't know. There's visuals out there, and I don't know. I haven't seen them for a while. They were quite stunning, very yellow, extreme high yellow. Brighter yellow than what the olives normally are. Yeah. So I don't think Marty was keen to push on too far with that project. So
yeah, I mean, once again, interesting project. But I if you want something patternless and white, just get an olive to me. But I think water pythons in their own right are quite a stunning snake.
Yep, I think he wanted small miniature
albinos,
olives, basically. So
there's a purpose for what he did with it, but he, credit to Marty, he was straight up and honest with what they were. He wasn't trying to crap on anyone, wasn't trying to deny. He kept it to himself, did something he wanted to do, make smaller versions, and when he moved that project on, people that bought it knew exactly what it was they were getting. So, that's responsible.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Darren Boswell, remember the hybrids in the old hoser book? They were ugly. There was some weird stuff back in the day, I guess, because we didn't have the morphs. We're so fortunate now we have the morphs we have, so we don't have to try some extreme weird stuff to get, different looking things. So
so that's the same thing. I've never seen the point of putting a Murray with a jungle, which people do. Like, I've always thought, if I'm going to breed Murrays, I'll breed Murrays. I now have, obviously proved out the silver pepper trait. So then to put that trait into jungle, there's a reason for that, because I want to get jungle colors into a silver pepper pattern. So there's a polygenic reason for that introduction, which I did a number of years ago and have that project on the way. But in terms of anything that's wild type, I 100% spot on, Daz. I think most of it doesn't make anything nice. I think you're better off line breeding and working within a wild type trait, i.e. whether it's pure Murrays. Some of the pure bredli you have, Brent, you're having some success with those, and look at it starting to come out. Like, a pure bredli.
Third generation pure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you don't have to start crossover to get something cool. I think working within the same line. Roger Lester with jungles, back in the day, like he was a go-to man for stunning jungles. And now you got there's some, quite a few people around now working with that sort of stuff and just making pure stuff even better. So me personally,
got a bunch going, they're doing stripe stuff, they're doing high yellow stuff, they're doing dark stuff. You can work within just one particular small area of the hobby.
Yeah, no, that's right. So, you can do whatever you like. So I think pure is not necessarily a bad thing. Just work within the parameters.
Yep, definitely. Talia is saying, I heard a few rumors about pure albino coastal, but haven't been able to find anything online. Have you heard?
That was Kurt Walker.
Kurt Walker, yeah, Kurt Walker's line. Another purist. Be careful what you say. I believe the line is probably a pure albino coastal line. I would just love someone to come out and breed one to a pure Darwin and see if it produces albino, seeing if that morph sits on the same genus point, the same locus point as what the Darwin does. If it bred to that and produced double heads, it would absolutely prove that project beyond all belief. There would be no doubting it whatsoever. If it made albinos, then okay, we've still got some doubt there, I guess, because it could be just Darwin stuff mixed into other stuff. But by the look of the animals I saw a long time ago from that line, they look coastal as. To me, big heads, they look like a pure coastal, but the project's sort of been passed around and palmed off and in all different hands, and there's been lots of stories in the back end about it. So I would love to see the project go somewhere and something happen with it. It's just been 10 years in the making, and not a whole lot happened.
Yeah, those animals have been around for a very long time as well. When they first appeared back on APS back in the day when Kurt had them, it was automatically, because the biggest problem you had, albino Darwins were out. People got albino Darwins, and a lot of them, the first thing they did was strew them in everything else, Fine.
Of course.
In the coastals, in the jungles, and Murrays, and all sorts of stuff. People just tried to breed them with anything and everything. And then suddenly when someone else comes out and goes, oh, it's a pure coastal, albino, blah, 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 instantly it's like, oh, it's probably a cross. It's just an automatic assumption. I agree with Brent. Having followed that and having spoken to Kurt, from my knowledge, that animal was wild collected. Hence why there's no question where it come from. It's no question that it's not pure. However, there'll be people out there go, oh, I shouldn't have done this.
That, you said it, Dad.
Mate, I'm not saying that Kurt was the one that found the animal.
Yeah,
and
most of these new things
put
come
it on
from the bush.
100%. I put it on the table that I can guarantee you that 99% of people walking through the bush, if they found a something, a pied carpet in the bush, and I'm going to go, that's cool, take a photo of it and walk off. You know, like chances of survival are quite low in anyway. But
anything that's that different and attractive to prey.
Yeah, so that's it. And Kurt doesn't give a shit, to be honest. He's, I'm not saying that in a bad way. He just does what he does. He does his own thing.
Yeah.
You don't believe him, that's your problem. And good on him.
Yeah. He copped so much shit back in the day. I can see why he went underground. Everyone just giving it to him like no tomorrow. No one believed it. So Snake Sector saying they got sold. They did get sold. They got sold and they got resold. And another guy had them in Queensland and he sold some off. Like they're just being passed around a fair bit now. And it's just it feels like it's a bit of a mess and it could be very easily unraveled in the right hands, I feel.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem to it is, people think it's a gold mine, and unfortunately that ship sailed. At the end of the day, it's a pure coastal. If that is the case, it's albino. Is it a $6,000 snake when you can buy an albino for $300? Not in my books, anyway. So I don't think it's it's probably got some value compared to everything else, but I don't think it's a huge dollar value project. What do you reckon, Brent?
I think it's got its own merits because obviously it opens up the door for you can have pure coastal stuff, pure snows, pure moon glows. You can have different directions of it, but again, is that worth 10 times what a everyday one is? Probably not. So I would like to see the line just be established and work, and see what it is. I would love it not to be compatible with the Darwin line. That to me would be something special.
Unquestionable. I mean, at the end of the day, you'd make just double het albino, two different albino lines, but it certainly, makes it an unquestionable lineage.
And that then sort of opens up the path of go and remake all the things using that albino line to see what the difference is going to be, see how they're mixed into other things and how they look. So, interesting.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Darren saying when projects are kept secret, people will make up their own stories. That's sort of been the problem. When people who aren't even involved in the projects start to sort of run their flaps about it too. Suddenly stories come from all over the place. So it's unfortunate. There's been so much talk over the time, but we'll see how it comes out in time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's one of those things people want to keep themselves because, as soon as you come out and go, look at this, everyone just wants to get on the hate bandwagon.
Yep. It's not been pretty. So, Darren Boswell, reduced pattern male Bradley you've got for sale. Thanks, buddy. I just sent as a picture of one that's a little bit older from that. This is a pure Bradley line. This is the 3rd generation. And I'm growing up at the moment that are probably ready to breed next year. And this is just what we're talking about polygenics. This is what you can do with lots and lots of line breeding over many generations.
Did you just send me a picture? Is that what you said, meaning?
Yeah. Yeah, messenger. Did it come?
Not yet. It's been slow.
It's broken. I'll try and send again. Messenger. Chat.
Yeah, it's like internet. I bet you my son's in his room watching bloody YouTube or something or other and slowing everything down.
Blow it up. Anyway, we'll see if that one ends up. Daniel saying, did you end up going ahead with your Bradley pairings this year with so many clutches, Brent? Oh, I did cut them back, mate. There was too many earlier clutches and I was pooing myself. So I think there is one clutch of the things that made the stripe, stonewash looking things. They're a stripe pair that I was trying to make stripes from that popped out things that very much look like hypo stonewashes. So definitely had to repeat that pairing. And there was one other, I think, Bradley girl still to lay. So yeah, I normally would do 3 or 4 pairings of the Bradley, mostly pure stuff, but definitely a cutback due to some piss poor planning on my behalf where everything erupted. So
speaking of Bradley.
Here's one we prepared earlier.
So there you go. Case of a stunning, just pure Bradley. What a good looking snake.
Good old Bradley, and just that's developed, that's 3rd generation. So just trying to reduce as much definitely get rid of all the black, trying to get rid of more of that pattern. So that sort of greeny color, the base color is becoming much more dominant all over it. In the early part, there was, a lot of people thought they were stonewash. Certainly one of the original founding animals that started that line looked very, very much stonewash to me and others, but proved out not to be after a few generations of working things out. But the difference is you look at the head on that animal, and that reduction of pattern and color goes all the way through the tip of the nose and right to the tip of the tail. So stonewash animals have a solid normal red head, and then the washout starts at the back of the neck basically. So that's the telltale sign now. It's easier to compare things later on when you've sort of got things to look at from both sides. But still a beautiful animal. I love that project. It's something I'll just keep doing forever. I'll just keep pairing up the next generation and seeing where it gets to.
Can't beat a gorgeous bred line.
Bit of pure.
Talking about it's a way back when post. So talking about how a lot of people keep a secret. Back when I first produced the first peppers, I knew nothing about genetics. Didn't know a thing. So back in the old APS days, I actually made a UMD. Well, I had no idea when was that. It was back in December 29, 2007 when I hatched it. So
Darren Woodick is saying, anyone know what these are?
Pretty much, it was just like something unusual. Like I had an idea on ratios and all that sort of stuff, and put some information in there. But yeah, it was like, I was trying to learn. So
nobody knew.
Nowadays, I'd probably keep quiet and not say so much, but back then I was like, oh, this is something new. And at that point in time, there was only albinos. We only had albino ducklings.
There was nothing else. Yeah,
Jags were in the country, but they hadn't been released at that point in time.
Yep.
So
it'd be interesting to go back one day and read those threads, the theories and the answers of some questions you asked back in the day.
There's 3 pages of it.
That's another whole show.
Yeah, it was just like when you talk about that, I thought, I did put a post. I wonder if it's still there. So that was from 29th of December 2007.
Yeah,
it's 15 years ago.
Way back.
God, how long have we been going for now? Must be over 25 years now. Jesus.
That's why you're so old.
Yeah, I reckon. Is that why? Maybe I shouldn't have started breeding snakes. I would have been so old.
Would have been more simple for sure.
But anyway. All right, well, I think we're pretty much done, mate. That's been a long show. Did a lot of chatting, and we'll just keep going. Otherwise, if we don't make a bit of an end to it, I know you'll have to go to bed soon. So
11 minutes to bedtime. Yep.
So, Brent, so when people are looking to get some of your critters or want to get in contact with you, where do they find you, mate?
KHP Reptiles on Facebook or website, www. I don't even know if you need that anymore. I think you can just type khpreptiles.com.au and it comes up.
Just put in the search engine, mate. I think you can put it in.
Yeah, mate. Google KHP Reptiles, it comes straight up. Or Brent Smith on Messenger, and you, Mr. Morelia by Design.
Yeah, when you go on Facebook Messenger and Morelia by Design on Facebook and Instagram, which I'm a bit slack and need to do some more of. But if you've got questions, hit us up. We're always here to try and help if we can, show you how it is really. keep it straight.
The no bullshit.
Thanks everyone for dropping in, saying hello and chatting. It's always fun. We enjoy it. Be safe, be kind, and we'll catch you all the next one. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Good night.
Thanks.